Party quick tip. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. That all just ended. So we're week between what do we got? Christmas and New Year's, and tends to be sometimes the busiest week at car dealerships. So hopefully, get your attention here. Or you might be too busy selling cars. But one of the things I wanted to go over is a couple of things that we're seeing at our dealerships. Good operators, bad operators. A couple of things that are really sticking out, and I think that you guys want to pay attention to with your current inventory. And that is what we call middle bucket bleed through. I'm also seeing SUVs, intermediate especially, sometimes compact SUVs and trucks are bleeding through. What we mean by bleeding through is going from one age bucket to the next. So here's the problem. I was on a call this morning with one of our dealers, and they're selling a lot out of their 46 to 60 age bucket. A lot of their sales are coming out there. That means, again, we're not impacting or attacking that 16 to 30 and 31 to 45 bucket soon enough. And as we started pulling back and looking at the 31 to 45 bucket, some of those cars, let's say, again, any particular car at any particular price to market, but let's say it was at 98% at day 40. Well, that particular car probably should have been at 95% by now, which had been at least a $500 adjustment, sometimes $1,000. So what that would mean to me, that would indicate to me that we're a week or two behind. We should have been at 98% 2 weeks ago. The problem is we probably were around 95, 96, 97% 2 weeks ago, but then that turned into 98% now. And so then you got to make these decisions. So this is why we're seeing the middle bucket bleed through. Do you just drop it 500 and go from 98 down to about 96? Or do you drop it 1,000 to get it where it really should be at day 45, day 50, if you have an aging policy, which in this day and age you should. But then you take a look at it, even a $500 adjustment, sometimes we're losing money, or we're already losing money at the 98% at 45 days old. We're already losing 300. So you make a $500 adjustment just to drop it to closer where it should be by now. And then all of a sudden we're losing 800. And again, that's what we're seeing middle bucket bleed throughs, because these are especially that 30 to 60 age bucket. That is a very tough bucket right now. Go look at any car 30 to 50 days old right now. A lot of times those cars, you're probably, to price it aggressive enough to leave your lot in the next 10, 20 days, or by day 60. You're probably, if you priced it anywhere from 95 to 98, you might be making a few hundred bucks, or losing a few $100 already. So that's the reason why they're bleeding through, because it's hard to make that decision on a 32-day-old car. You're making $200. You're at 98%. The photos took a little bit to get done. So it's only been active for about 20 days, even though it's, 35, 40 days old. Now all of a sudden you go, you know what, let's give it another week or so. And again, by day 45, we're seeing those cars still in our inventory. They're priced at where I should have been at day 30, not at day 45. And then I got to make a bigger adjustment if I have an aging policy. And this is why things are bleeding through. Same reason I think trucks and SUVs are. I mean, think about it. We've got higher interest rates, so these vehicles tend to be a higher dollar vehicle. And so all of a sudden, these cars are starting to sit and bleed through. And what we mean by that is, a lot of times we'll track, or we predict when a car will leave your lot based on your historical sales rates and many factors. But we're seeing, for example, one story is intermediate SUVs. We would have thought, based on 60 days of sales history, it would have left around 27 days old, probably around 96% as a whole, intermediate SUVs. Now they're taking over 30 days to sell, and they're about 91%. So the ones that did sell were 3 to 4 or 5% more aggressively priced to leave and took longer to sell. So we're seeing currently some of these cars are starting to stick through and bleed. And these are typical winter cars that I think are stuff that's popular at this point in time, with weather and winter, with all-wheel drives, front-wheel drives. And so trucks, I think, is there's some plenty trucks out there like Ram and stuff new. F-150s are coming out there. So I think that's causing these higher dollar trucks to sit, because by the time you pay interest on a higher dollar used car, you can maybe get a special rate on a new one and be pretty comparable and close. So I think customers are aware of that. And then on the trickle down effect. And then also a lot of, I don't know if that construction business that typically buys trucks and maybe would buy them by the end of the year for tax write-offs and so forth, or maybe doing that. They're probably already taking a loss for the year, so they don't need to dump the truck and to get a new one and again use that as a write-offs. Also, you might be seeing that they might be pulling back the reins, that things have slowed down in their business, or if they haven't slowed down yet, they're looking to the first quarter of next year, wondering if their business will be as busy. So maybe keeping money tight. So that's a couple of reasons why I think that truck market has kind of been soft a little bit right now. I'm not hearing a lot of dealers talking about that end of the year flux. But again, we're at the last week of the month. Let's see what happens. Some of these things might start popping. But going forward, if, by next week, if that middle bucket is still bleeding through, and what you need to do to look at that is look at your current. I like looking at 15-day buckets, 0 to 15, 16 to 30, 31 to 45 on down. Look at your current either units in those buckets and or percentage of your dollars. And then go pull a sold report. Go pull what you sold by age bucket in the last 2 weeks. There's a couple areas that you can pull that out depending on your inventory management tool. What did you sell by those age buckets in the last 2 weeks? If you're talking units, let's say you have 30 units in 31 to 45. And over the last 2 weeks, you've only sold, let's say, 6 units out of that 31 to 45. Well, we want you to sell a month's worth of inventory. So if you sold 6 in 2 weeks, that'd put you on pace to sell 12 in 4 weeks. So basically, you're on pace to only sell 12 out of an age bucket that has 30 units in there. You have to increase that sale rate. Those are the metrics. I wrote the book, Work the Facts. Go to workthefacts.com, get a copy. Those are the kind of metrics I go over in here, but you watch that. And obviously the reason why I call it WTF or Work the Facts, that's a factual situation on your lot that you're going to want to address. So then isolate those cars and then figure out what cars you want to attack to get that inventory moving. But the other thing is go check out the leads and the lead management on those SUVs, intermediate SUVs, large pickup trucks, compact SUVs, 31 to 45 if you're not selling enough. You got to be able to isolate those leads and call and email those leads every day, every other day to get that sale rate up instead of just dropping pricing. Okay. There's plenty of times I was just on this call with this dealer. Again, there's 6, 7, 8 leads sitting there. And I'm looking at last contact dates 6 days ago, 7 days ago, 13 days ago. We need to make sure if I have a problem on my 31 to 45 bucket, I'm not 30 in stock, only on pace to sell 12. I want to call and email those or text those emails, those leads every day, every other day to get that sell rate back up. The problem is your CRM's probably not engaged that way. CRMs are typically set up to contact leads based on the age of the lead. Well, 30 to 45 day old leads, if you have a 40-day-old car with a 30-day-old lead on it, your CRM's not scheduling calls to be that frequent on there. So again, those are things we're trying to solve with our lot walk product, combining lead management with inventory management. So when you have a large pickup truck problem, let's isolate those leads, call and email those leads. If we're having a intermediate SUV problem, let's isolate those leads, call and email those leads every day, every other day, regardless of the time schedule in my CRM, because we don't know, managing leads based on the age of the lead is irrelevant because we don't know where they are in their buying cycle. We don't know if they're 2 days away or 60 days away. What I need to do is manage leads based on problems on my lot. And if I'm bleeding through my 31 to 45 age bucket, those cars there need to be addressed. Those cars probably have leads. I need to address and contact those leads instead of dropping pricing. But again, CRMs don't do that. That's where we're combining the lot walk to sell cars to customers, right? We do that all day, every day, but we got a CRM over here that doesn't talk cars, just customers, and inventory management tools sometimes just talk cars and not customers. And so these two worlds need to be worked together. So if you'd like to see what we could do to help you keep an eye on your stuff every day consistently, to not let things bleed through, give you a game plan, an action plan, 30 minutes or so in the morning. Here's the problems on your lot. Here's the leads that you could do to solve those problems and the cars you might want to address. Check out lotwalker.com or lotpop.com. See what we can do. Hope you have a great, strong finish to the month and to the year, and Happy New Year's. See you on the other side.